So we're on science project reviewing Earth spheres, okay? So our learning target for today is to identify the elements in each of the Earth's spheres and how they interact with one another. So we're going to be doing this together, and you're going to need this for tomorrow, okay? So today we're mostly just going to take notes and have class discussions about it so that tomorrow we can begin the project, okay? So the project for tomorrow will be begin your project. Either create a paper model of the Earth's 4 spheres or add 4 slides to the Google Slides assignment, 1 for each sphere. So you can do it on paper or you can do the Google Slides, but that's not going to be until tomorrow, okay? Okay, so scroll down and you should have opened this Google Slides copy right here, okay? Yes, Ledger?
Can we do the partner?
No, you're not doing it with a partner. No. I said no. Thank you. Elian, take your hood off, please. All the way. Keep going. Thank you. Okay, so here's kind of a model that it should look like for tomorrow as well, okay? Science, we are on 5.1.4, Earth system interactions. The 4 spheres, how many? 4. Thank you, 4. Okay, so create a model of the 4 spheres on Earth. So when we're looking at this picture, what do you see? Raise your hands. Sophie?
The Earth.
The Earth. What else do you see? Dylan? Volcanoes, right here.
Mountains.
Bo?
The atmosphere.
The atmosphere.
Surprisingly.
Sophie?
I have a question. Why is there only one city? Like a town?
Because that's a part of the sphere. Dylan?
Ocean.
Oceans. There is an ocean and mountains and icebergs. Okay, so next slide. Ready? Review the photo on the right.
Yep.
So this photo right here. So next, we are going to think about the different parts that interact with each other.
Oh, I did this at home.
Okay? Then review the videos on slides 3 and slide 5. Think about which things in this photo are in which spheres as you watch them. Okay? So, what do we see here? Ledger.
Sheep.
Dylan, eyes up here.
Grass. There are trees, mountains.
There's
grass,
sheep, grass,
dirt,
mountains,
houses
trees,
in the
dirt,
background.
houses,
There's
snow.
animals.
Snow. Sophie?
Animals.
Okay, Sophie's turn.
Okay, there's mountains, there's trees, there's a cloud, there's a road right there.
Dylan?
I'm gonna say trail.
There's a trail. Good. Okay, so now let's think about how do these things interact with each other? How do they meet each other?
There's a forest.
What does the sheep have to do with the grass?
Eat.
Both.
The sheep eat the grass,
The sheep eat the grass.
and the sheep produce,
Fertilizer.
yes, that allows the grass to grow.
That allows the grass to grow. And what does the grass give the sheep for them to grow?
I said food.
Food, what else?
And water.
Not water.
First. No. Food and food. Sheep.
Things that we can breathe as living mammals. Oxygen, right? So the trees and the grass help to produce oxygen that we can breathe. So
You can't see the air.
we can't see the air, but we know that. We already know that
I
this.
did the slide, and the next one it said
Elian, turn it off.
You can't see air. Like
Not with the human eye.
Since fish can't see the ocean, can they see?
Okay,
Pigs are basically
back over here. Ready? 3, 2. Yes, Ariana.
What if fish can't see water, but they can see oxygen? What? That's what I said. That would be.
I don't know. You can be a scientist and test the theory. Okay, after watching each video, you are going to take notes. Back over here. And we're going to define the spheres and give examples of the 4 things in each sphere on slides 4 and slide 6. Okay, so next one, the 4 spheres. How many? 4. Thank you, Emma and Sophie. Okay, here's the video.
Earth is kind of like a puzzle. And I don't mean a puzzle like, where did my brother put my hairbrush? Or what exactly is in the tacos they serve on Taco Tuesday? I mean that our planet is made up of 4 very different parts that all work together to make Earth the lovely place that we know it to be. We call these parts spheres, and between them, they contain all the stuff on our planet. Everything from the fish in the ocean to the air we breathe. Earth has 4 spheres: the geosphere, the biosphere, the hydrosphere, and the atmosphere. So, what exactly are the spheres? And what's in them?
Okay, let's look at what is in each sphere.
Let's take a look at 2, the geosphere and the biosphere. Up first is the geosphere. Geo comes from the Greek word for ground. You may have heard this before in words like geology or geography. It basically means having to do with the Earth. And in a way, the geosphere is kind of like the skeleton of our planet. All of the other spheres are built on top of it. It's made up of all the rocks and minerals on Earth, from the biggest boulders to the tiniest grains of sand. And all of the landforms that those rocks and minerals make up are part of the geosphere too. I'm talking volcanoes, canyons, beaches, mountains, you name it. If it's made out of solid Earth, it's part of the geosphere. Now, it's important to remember that the geosphere includes only non-living stuff. Living things do need to eat, though, and all living things are part of another one of Earth's spheres, the biosphere. Bio is Greek for life, and like geo, you've probably heard it before in words like biology, the study of life. The biosphere is made up of many different biomes. Biomes are regions that have similar kinds of plants, animals, and other living things that have adapted to live in that particular region's terrain and climate. Deserts and forests are types of biomes. So are rainforest, grasslands, and wetlands. All of these biomes and many more make up the biosphere. Okay, now that we know what's in these 2 spheres, let's put them together and try to figure out what belongs to which sphere. Imagine a lovely forest meadow, a bird perched on a rock chirping away, a deer standing in the tall grass, a mountain standing tall in the background, and a stream flowing through the clearing. Ah, I can almost smell it. Almost everything in this scene is part of either the geosphere or the biosphere. Let's see if we can figure out which parts go into which sphere. Let's start with the geosphere. We know that there's nothing alive in the geosphere, so we can rule out all the plants and animals. Water is also part of a different sphere, but we'll talk about that later. When we take away the living things, we're left with all the solid earth parts of the scene. The rock the bird was standing on, the soil the grass was growing out of, the mountain in the distance, and the bed the stream water flowed through. So what we're left with is the geosphere. Rocks, soils, and landforms. Got it? Now let's think about the biosphere. Unlike the geosphere, everything in the biosphere is alive. So the rocks, the mountain, and the stream, they don't count. Now we're just left with the living things, the grass, the birds, the deer. Voila! You found the biosphere. So now you know 2 of Earth's 4 spheres, the biosphere and the geosphere. While they're different puzzle pieces of Earth, they work together to help make our planet what it is. Okay, now I gotta go find where my brother put my hairbrush.
Okay, so what 2 spheres did we just learn about? Geosphere and biosphere. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, type a definition for each sphere and give some examples of what is found in that sphere. So hint, watch the video on slide 3, which we already watched. Okay, So for geosphere, okay, is this the living things or the non-living things? Non-living things, right? Okay, so we can say where, start typing, the non-living, thank you Luna for writing, things from Earth are. Dylan, start typing. If you have a different definition, then you may type a different definition. But it should have words like non-living things. Leon, start typing. Got it, Thomas? Sophie, start writing, girl. Geosphere. Quickly. Yes, Dylan. Okay. Okay, so what are some examples of geosphere? So write examples, semicolon. What are some examples? Thomas. Rocks. Good. Luna. Not animals, that one goes down here. Close. Rocks, because they're all non-living things. Luna. The soil from the grass. So soil slash dirt. Thank you, Alejandro. What's one more thing? Dylan, keep writing. Keep typing. Elian, typing. Mountains?
Yeah.
Thank you, Alejandro. Mountains. Okay. Quickly get those down. Next we have biosphere. Emma. Is there an emergency? Okay, give me a bathroom pass. Elian, quickly, you got it? Okay, biosphere. What is the definition for the biosphere, Ledger?
The biosphere has living things such as animals, grass, trees, and weeds.
Good. Has living things such as Muna had said animals, grass, Muna, huh? Trees.
And weeds.
Okay, sign it to the left. Okay. Typing, come on. Elian, yo sé que todavía no se ha acabado eso. Quickly, come on. Thank you. Okay, we've learned about 2. 2 out of 4, which means we need to learn about 2 more. Ready? Okay, 10 more seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. Part 2. Ready? So we learned about geosphere and biosphere. Next have
Remember when we were putting together the puzzle that is our planet, using the 4 spheres as giant pieces? Well, we got pretty far last time, but we're not done yet. Oh no. That's because, in addition to the geosphere and the biosphere, which we talked about last time, there are 2 more spheres that we need to complete our planetary puzzle. Those are the hydrosphere and the atmosphere. So without further ado, let's dive in. See what I did there? I said that because the first sphere we're going to talk about is the hydrosphere. Hydro comes from the Greek word for water, and all of the water on Earth is in the hydrosphere. This means that every single drop of salt water in the oceans, but also all of the fresh water in lakes and rivers, is in this sphere. And it includes all of the water trapped in glaciers as ice, and the water held deep underground. Now, there's also water in the air around us, too, which we can sometimes see in the form of rain and snow. Those things come from clouds, which happen to be way up in the atmosphere. Our last, but certainly not least, sphere. This sphere contains all of the gases on the planet, which is fitting since atmos comes from the Greek word for air. Although we can't really see the atmosphere or grab onto it, it reaches everywhere and covers the entire planet like a giant snuggly blanket. But our atmosphere blanket isn't all the same. It's split up into many different layers. The troposphere is the lowest layer. It contains 80% of the air on the planet. It's also where all of our weather takes place. Above the troposphere is the stratosphere. There's no weather up there and much less air, but there's still important gases in it that help absorb harmful rays from the sun. The mesosphere is the coldest layer of the atmosphere and sits on top of the stratosphere. There's almost no breathable air up there, and even less in the thermosphere above it, where you might bump into some satellites flying around the planet. The last layer of the atmosphere is the exosphere. That's the highest you can go and still be on Earth. Once you leave the exosphere, you're officially in space, baby. Now, these two spheres can be kind of hard to tell apart, so let's investigate. At the beach. The beach is the perfect place to take a closer look at what pieces of our environment make up the hydrosphere and which are parts of the atmosphere. The beach is, of course, right next to the ocean, and since the ocean holds most of the water on our planet, it's the biggest part of the hydrosphere. The rivers that flow into the ocean are also a big part, and so is the rain that's just starting to fall on our beach. Well, that's a bummer. But check this out. While the rain is a part of the hydrosphere, the clouds it came from are actually part of the atmosphere, and the wind that pushes the waves around is part of the atmosphere too. Even though we can't see it, the atmosphere is all around us in the form of the air that we breathe. Our planet couldn't be the amazing place we know it to be without the 4 spheres. And it can be a tough puzzle to put together, but the result is pretty amazing. I think you'll agree.
Okay, let's start rating. Ready? You can do it. Okay, type a definition for each sphere. So if you put that down. An example of what is found in the sphere. Okay, so hydrosphere. Hydro means water. Okay, so what is in this sphere, Sophie?
Water.
Okay, so
Rain. Fish.
the water
There's rain.
From
Ocean. River.
Earth. Okay, so examples. Start typing. Sophie? Oh, we need examples for hydrosphere. For water, right? Quickly, Lilian, you got it? Start typing. Sophie?
It holds the rain.
Rain.
The rivers.
Not fish. Rivers.
Ocean.
Oceans. Okay, that's good enough. Yes, Sophie? Atmosphere, you ready? Okay, let's give them time to write this one down. Yes, Emma? When we're done with atmosphere, okay? Thank you. Okay, atmosphere. Sophie?
It holds the oxygen
And gases?
gas.
Holds the oxygen and gases. Is that a good enough definition? Okay. Holds the oxygen and gases, period.
What page is that?
Examples. This is slide 6. Slide 6.
6. I
That's
need help
correct.
filling out the other ones.
Ledger's gonna help you pull your mask, okay? Okay, so what are some examples of the atmosphere, Sophie?
It holds the layers of the earth.
Layers.
Blanket.
Layers of the.
It's like it holds the oxygen like.
I guess examples are oxygen and gases, right? But there is more. Remember what makes the waves move in the ocean?
When?
Oh.
Wind. So layers of the air. So and then we can also say wind. What else? There's one more. Wind and what holds the rain? Clouds. Wind and clouds as well. Okay, so the layers that are in the atmosphere are part of that. And then the wind and the clouds. Okay, so what are the 4 spheres? Ready? Geosphere, biosphere, hydrosphere, atmosphere. Good.
Is that because of you cheating?
Oxygen. Okay. Okay, so we're going to be using this for tomorrow, okay? So you need to, on your Google Classroom, don't click turn in because it won't let you edit it if you want to edit it tomorrow. If you're going to lose your paper, I will hold it for you, okay?
Can you hold?
Make sure your name is on it. Okay. Okay. Yes, Emma. Okay, that is our science for today. Tomorrow we will be working on creating the